Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I'd like to talk about online retailers. Not the kind that we all rely upon and have relied upon for years, like Musician's Friend or Guitar Center or Sweetwater, even Amazon. You know, if you want to get some budget parts, Amazon's a great place to get them because they have a great return policy and it's super easy. Just take it back to your local UPS store and it's not an issue. What I want to talk about is there's, over the past year and a half, there have been a lot of videos or content creators who are putting out things about Temu. And there's other, relatively new or kind of shady, online retailers out there. But Temu really stands out. You see a lot of videos with, like, oh, I bought all this stuff for X amount of dollars and let's check it out and see if it's junk or not. And that's all well and good. And it is clear that Temu does reach out to content creators and gives them money to do these videos. And, everybody's got to make a living. My channel is just me, and I'm not taking money from anyone. And I just wanted to kind of talk about whether, some of the ethics of these things and whether or not these are things that we should be, like, oh, well, let's go purchase things from these companies. And specifically a company like Temu. So I have some notes here, and I just wanted to go over a few points. The first biting question in all of this is this stuff garbage? I mean, if you're paying, pennies on the dollar for components that you would otherwise, buy elsewhere, is this stuff any good? I think in some cases it might be the same stuff coming out of a factory. That is entirely possible. I think that in most cases, though, it is going to be more on the substandard side. And, I sit and I watch these things sometimes, and I'm just like, I'm not sure if I'd use those parts. And I think that it makes me question sometimes the validity of the people who are telling me, oh, this is a great deal. And I'm just not certain that it's something that I would actually purchase or advise somebody else to purchase. Another question, if you place an order with one of these companies or a company like Temu, how long are you going to be waiting to get these parts? Or how long are you going to be waiting to get this guitar or whatever it is that you're looking at, or keyboard? Shipping from China, it's going to be put into a container ship, and who knows, it could be I know sometimes when I buy things from Amazon that are, third-party sellers or whatever, I expect that I'm going to be waiting weeks, if not a month, over a month, sometimes for those parts to arrive. So that is a good question that you should also have in your mind if you are deciding to purchase something from a place like Temu. Then there's the company ethics, and this is a very tricky area. In capitalism in general, it's always about undercutting competition and giving the best price, or at least trying to. But when you hear about things like, oh, as this stuff was made in sweatshops, or there's ethical dilemmas about how the product is either manufactured or distributed or delivered, those are things that I think we all should educate ourselves upon and take into consideration. I will default to paying a little bit more for something to get it from a retailer that I feel like maybe treats their employees all right and also has, like I said, a valid return policy, some sort of warranty, and, recourse if the product does not meet expectations. Let's see. And then there's a lot of debate, around content creators regarding, oh, they're getting paid, so can we take their opinion seriously? That's a valid criticism. I think that most of the people that I watch, and hopefully most of the people that you watch, are people that you can relatively trust. I think that some people have been very transparent about their dealings with Temu, and I appreciate that. I would almost appreciate it more, though, if it was, let's pass on that. Let's not take the money and move on to some other sort of content besides pushing the Temu stuff, at, rock bottom prices, while getting paid to say, oh, you should get this stuff because it's rock bottom prices. Then there's, a general thing, kind of my ethos is rather than going and buying a bunch of cheap parts or cheap, instruments, you can always, look local or on Craigslist or in, your local music around if you happen to have one, or any used instrument store. And reuse, repurpose, and repair. Sometimes you can go into a shop and you can get an old bridge, or you can get a component and quite simply repair it or clean it up, and you can use that and not pay any more than you would if you were buying something new and relatively inexpensive. So that's always something that I like to keep in mind, at least when I'm looking around for parts. Can we trust glowing reviews? I think this is another issue with a lot of content creators. Sometimes it's effusive. It's like, oh, this is great stuff. This is good stuff. And you have to take all of that with a grain of salt, especially if you know that there probably is some sort of money changing hands behind the scenes. Let's see here. And I alluded to this earlier, but we'll just go ahead and discuss it directly. Are most parts coming out of the same factory anyway? Does it really even matter? And there is some truth to that. A lot of things are, just quite simply either rebranded or repackaged, and it's all coming from the same place. Now, I would trust screws, and I would trust, certain components to, the fact that it's all probably coming from the same place. But there's a lot of nuance involved with that. I mean, there are makers who make good budget, products. I'm thinking like Gotha and Wilkinson, and they're a step above just the no name, like a name that you've never heard of on something. I think that when you don't recognize the name brands on any of the parts that you're looking at, they all probably did. If you're looking at 5 Tune-O-Matic bridges, they probably all came out of the same factory if you don't recognize any of those names. And finally, just talking about, the more traditional retailers and things, I think that the real takeaway from all of this is that if you're spending money, any money, you want to have the option to either return or get a refund on the product, or be guaranteed there is some sort of window in which you can have recourse if the part ends up not working out. And I don't think that exists if you go to, an online retailer like Temu. I just quite simply, maybe I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And, I think that's really important to be able to have recourse after a purchase, because every dollar counts. I mean, come on. It's the name of the game. And that's part of the capitalist thing too. I don't want to waste my money. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I would love to see comments, and I want to hear more opinions about this. Do you trust, content creators who do business with companies like Temu, or is that a turnoff? Or does it not matter? Is it just the Wild West and we all just buy what we want whenever we want from whoever we can get it from at the lowest price? That's a legitimate argument as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you hit the subscribe button. A like and a share is always appreciated. And let's get a discussion going in the comments. What do you think about online retailers like Temu? All right, you take care, and we'll see you next time.